Good morning, everyone. We're so excited to have you here for our new year in cash value lending here with Inclined. I'm Monica Kerber. I am the key account executive for Northwestern Mutual here at Inclined. And I have with us this morning my partner and colleague, Elena Bravo. Say hi, Elena.
Morning.
Elena is our head of marketing. Fun fact about Elena, she's a pilot and her last name is Bravo, so we think that's really interesting. And Elena's going to be here today to help manage Q&A and the chat. So one thing that I would ask is, as you have questions, please just drop them in the chat, and we will be sure to capture those either by quickly answering it, or we're going to save some time at the end for formal Q&A. For those of you that are watching this in rebroadcast, we're glad you're here. And feel free to share this. If you have additional questions once you watch this, since you're not seeing it live, we will have all of my contact info on the last slide, and you can reach out to me via email or phone anytime, and happy to schedule some time to follow up with you. So with that, Elena, do we look like everyone is almost here for us to get started?
Yeah, it looks like we've got just a few stragglers still coming in, but we've got a good number of people if you'd like to get started.
Awesome. We're very excited. We had over nearly 100 people register for this webinar today. So would love to tell you first just a little bit about myself, and then we're going to dive right into all about Inclined. We're going to hear a few words from our CEO and co-founder, Josh Swiss, and then we'll get into the real fun stuff, our product features and facts. So as I mentioned, my name is Monica Kerber. I have a long, rich history with the Northwestern Mutual Network. I actually started my career in 2002 in a field office here in Denver, Colorado, where I live, work, and play. I went on to become the first chief recruiting officer in the system. I recruited my husband. So in full disclosure, I am married to my wealth management advisor with Northwestern Mutual. And in 2010, I started my own consulting practice and consulted heavily in the Northwestern Mutual system for about 15 years. And about 15 months ago, came over to Inclined. One of our co-founders was a Northwestern Mutual advisor in the firm that I worked in. And when I heard about what we were doing over here at Inclined, I got real excited because I am a super fan of whole life insurance. And it's been a great joy to bring alternative lending options to you and your clients. And that's really what we're on a mission to do here at Inclined. So a few words from Josh Wiss, our co-founder and CEO.
I spent the bulk of my career as a portfolio manager in the hedge fund industry focused on investing in technology companies. My love affair with whole life insurance began 20 years ago when a whole life advisor walked into my office in downtown San Francisco at the recommendation of a trusted friend. And I started out very skeptical. I was willing to take the meeting, but couldn't believe some of these things could be true. I learned over a year-long sales cycle that these things are true. Sitting here 20 years later, those policies have turned out to be everything that was represented to me at the time and even more. About 6 years into having both of those policies, I called my advisor, Graham, who's now one of our co-founders here, and said that I need some liquidity to make an investment. And it's a bigger number than the amount of cash I just leave lying around. And my other options for the liquidity involve paying taxes or pulling money out of funds. I think I want to do a policy loan. And that began my 10-year journey or experience in the bank intermediary market. Setting up that first line of credit was arguably the most painful, long, drawn-out financial transaction I've ever been through in my life. What I learned is there's very few banks that do this in the whole country, which seemed bizarre to me. And then I learned why. And that led to an increasing level of frustration that crescendoed in 2020 with the idea that there is a way to fix this. It involves a new company. It didn't exist to that point. It is now Inclined. That makes it very simple for policy owners to set up and use lines of credit in this market in a technology-driven way. And also makes it very simple for banks and credit unions to enter this market without having to do all the difficult administrative burden that had been there before, because we do it all for them. Inclined was founded by myself, our Chief Revenue Officer, Graham Gerlach, who spent his whole career as a whole life advisor, and Mark Shaw, our CTO, who spent his career founding companies in the Valley. I think it takes the experience and learnings of all three of us to come together and solve this problem. And learning about how much financial sense that made was really profound for me. And it really made me realize if I could have rewound the clock to the point of sale, I would have made those policies 3 times as big. If I truly understood how liquid cash value could be liquidity and how flexible and dynamic these policies are, I would have made them much bigger. Incline was founded in 2020 with a mission of making whole life insurance more liquid and more valuable for the households that own it. And that involves solving a lot of problems using software and technology. We are the most simple place to set up and use a line of credit backed by the cash value of a life policy. If you're a bank, we are the most simple place to enter the market of lending against cash value in whole life policies. It takes 15 minutes to set up an iLOC from the comfort of your home at incline.com. We put enormous effort into simplifying the onboarding process. And the more simple you can make it for a client or a policy owner to access their cash value during their lifetime, the more valuable that policy is to that household. It's that easy. So policy owners, we are the most simple place to originate and use a line of credit backed by the cash value of your whole life policy, full stop. The story of Incline can be very helpful at the point of sale in terms of demonstrating to households the flexibility and liquidity of cash value during your lifetime. This leads to households buying more policies and bigger policies. So we are helpful in that narrative. We also help advisors understand for their households that are borrowing against their cash value right now, we are a better solution. It is very simple to come over to Incline from either a direct-to-carrier policy loan setting or another third party and get up and running very quickly.
All right, a few words from Josh Wiss. Very exciting. I love when he talks about being helpful in the narrative of helping you to sell more cash value life insurance. That's one of my favorite things that he is passionate about. So I want to run everyone through quickly our slide deck to just share with you a little bit more about who we are as a company and product features. I will be sending everyone behind this a follow-up email that will come to you. Sorry about that. That will come to you via email. I'll include for you the rate sheet that you guys are going to see along with the recap of the product features. Anything that I share with you, you can share with other advisors as well as your clients. So we would love to know, and this is an interactive poll, so we would love to know when accessing cash value, what matters most to your clients? And Elena's going to pop the answers up here for you. Take a few minutes and vote. We'd love to know. Inquiring minds want to know what's important to you. Is it rate? Is it the convenience or speed of accessing the funds? Is it line increases to their line of credit? Or is it the loan to value? I should have played Jeopardy music.
Give it just another moment here. I still see some answers coming in.
I love this. I love finding out what's important to your clients. Sometimes it surprises me. I'm a policy owner, so I know what matters to me.
Give it just a few more seconds here. If you haven't answered yet, just take a moment and select your choice on the screen. Okay. And I'll share the results.
Rate. Yes, at 45%. But coming in a close second is convenience and speed of accessing funds at 41%. Then line increases. Nobody actually even cared about that. And then the loan to value at 14%. What I would love to share with you is we often think that rate will be the number one thing, but we get a NPS, a Net Promoter Score, after every client obtains a line of credit with us. We reach out to get feedback, and it's so interesting because the number one thing that we hear that they love the most is how convenient and fast their experience was at Inclined. So convenience and speed actually ends up trumping rate, even though originally they often say to us that it is rate that they really care about. All right, so a quick recap from Josh's video there earlier. What makes us different or unique that you'll want to keep in mind is here at Inclined, we are not the bank. We are a fintech SaaS, service as a software company. And what that means is that we've created a technology platform that sits in the middle between policy owners, your clients, the carrier, in our case, Northwestern Mutual, and advisors on one side, and on the other, banks and credit unions. And what that's doing is it's helping us to come in and creatively disrupt this very archaic way in which clients used to access their cash value. Most of you are probably familiar with the policy loan. Policy loans are great in a pinch. I've personally done them myself. But some of the challenges, as you know, is the rate at the carrier isn't as attractive. It's sitting at about 8%. And oftentimes one of the challenges is clients don't end up paying that policy loan back. And so now that policy has lost its full integrity of earning the full dividend because the cash has been pulled out of the policy. Or you can go to a bank intermediary. There's several of them out there. They have subject matter expertise in this area. They know what they're doing, but they're clunky and they're slow. And they're really for about 10% of the market. And the reason why is because their cash value minimums are really high. They're sitting somewhere between 100 and 250,000 of cash. And their rates are terrible. They all are sitting at prime right now. You don't need to Google what prime is. I'll tell you, it's at 8.5. Insert incline. We have the lowest minimums and the most attractive rates out there. Your clients can use an unlimited amount of personally owned whole life policies to reach our minimum of 25,000 of cash value per line of credit. Our rates are also more attractive. We have an introductory rate of 6% for 1 year. And then after the 12 months, the rate, depending on the line size, as you can see here on the left, will go variable plus or minus prime. So to give context, today prime is sitting at 8.5. If prime didn't move at all, and you had a client with an iLOC with a line over 200,000, when the clock expired on the 6%, it would move to prime minus 100 basis points, which would be 7.5. Some other features that clients love, it's all done online. Your clients are going to apply within 15 minutes and be pre-approved, sometimes within the same day. We look at 3 things when we underwrite your clients. One is the cash value in the life insurance, and we loan to value typically up to 95%, sometimes as high as 98% on policies that are paid up. We make sure your clients don't have any tax liens, and we'll do a soft and a hard inquiry on their credit. We look for a credit score of 620 or higher, but we do not report that to the credit bureau, which is what clients actually care about. Every year on the policy anniversary and on its half birthday, the client will see a line increase. So if they have multiple policies assigned, they're going to see multiple increases throughout the year. Once their line is active, they'll log in and link their bank account that they want associated with their iLOC. When they want to access funds, they don't call you. They don't have to sit on the phone with Inclined. They literally log into their portal. They click a button that says draw funds. They put the amount in that they need, and it'll land in their bank account the next business day. The reverse is true for payments. When they want to make payments, they click make a payment. They can set up reoccurring payments. They can do ad hoc payments. And in fact, payments are entirely optional and can be capitalized up to the line limit as long as there's availability on the iLOC. We do not charge fees ever. There are no fees to you and no fees to your clients. And we have some of the most amazing support operations team members here at Incline. In fact, fun fact, we have actually over 60 years of former Northwestern Mutual field experience among our sales and our operations team. So when I tell you that we're here to make your life better, we're here to make your life better. A few more eligible factors. We're only supported here in the US. We are not available in Iowa or Maryland yet, or US territories. So we can't support clients living in Puerto Rico. And like I mentioned, the FICO score of 620 or higher. Policies must be personally owned. We are piloting currently universal life, nothing variable. So if you have something in the general portfolio of UL, please email me. I'd love to talk to you about it. And they cannot have anything that's MAC'd. All right, for those of you who are familiar with Inclined, what's new? Well, if you missed the memo back in December, we have all team staff access. It's fully launched. So if you're an advisor on the portal, you can now add your associates and your team members. And as you continue to grow your team, you can add them as well. That will allow all of you to log in at any time and see where your clients are and introduce them to Inclined. We have a brand new website. If you haven't been to inclined.com recently, please check it out. It's beautiful. Elena did an incredible job with our design team and our engineers. It's so user-friendly and so informative that we have policy owners directly requesting applications. And so we now have the option for a client to just go on and put in their contact info, and we'll reach out to them with an application. So you can also tell your clients, hey, check out inclined.com. Like I mentioned, we're in pilot right now for traditional UL. Again, nothing variable, but please reach out to me if you have some interest in participating. I have a handful of spots left. We also have really informative video tutorials on our website. So if you have questions from your clients on how they link their bank account, or if you can't quite remember, how do I log in and send my client an introduction to Inclined? Go first to our website and check out those videos. They're short and super helpful. And then finally, something we're very excited about is oftentimes we have clients who have an existing assignment at another bank intermediary and they want to move over to Inclined. We now can get them pre-approved without them having to release that assignment. So if you have a client who's at another bank intermediary and they're thinking about a better rate, get them the introduction to apply. We'll get them pre-approved, and then they'll know exactly what their rate and their line size would be before they go through the work of releasing the assignment. If you haven't seen the dashboard, this is what your view looks like. You log in with your Northwestern Mutual credentials, and you'll be able to directly introduce your clients by clicking the button that says Send Introduction. All you need to do is put in your client's name and the email address they want associated with their iLOC. You can even pre-fill for them the policy numbers that they need to assign. Once your clients go through the application process, you'll be able to track their progress, as you can see below by the status bar. And then anytime you want to see all of your clients that you've brought to Inclined, like for example, if you're preparing for an annual review, you'll be able to log in and see their line amount, their balance, and their rate. The only way you wouldn't have that view is if they opted you out. So the portal access is giving you 100% control. Like the keys to the Corvette, we are just giving you 100% control to self-serve, see where your clients are, and bring them over to Inclined. Another thing we're super excited about is group lunches are back. Last year, we launched, Elena and I, a very successful Let's Buy You Lunch campaign. And you all got very excited about it. We traveled all over the country and hosted network office days and sponsored your lunch and your breakfast meetings. And we would love to do more of that this year. So if that is something that you or your organization is interested in, please reach out to me. You can email me, monica@incline.com. You can include or carbon copy the best person for us to connect with. We also do virtual sessions with study groups, client builder groups, state of the district office meetings. We're as creative as you are. So if you have a group that you want to bring together, we'll do about a 20-minute presentation. We'll do some Q&A, and then we'll give everyone a gift card that they can redeem for lunch on us. Enough from me. Let's hear from you. It's time for Q&A. Elena's gonna share with me what questions you guys have in the chat. And if you think of something later after we jump off, again, feel free to email me. What do we got, Elena?
Yeah, this has been a quiet group so far, but feel free to put your questions in the Q&A box, and I'll be happy to get to them. First one, Monica, when
I'll share.
somebody wanted clarification on when does the 6% rate start?
You know what? I was just going to say that because that's a really good question that often comes up. This is important to know. The 6% starts at activation, regardless if there's a draw. We will never make demands on a draw, but just know that that's important, especially if clients, maybe they're doing a policy loan cleanup and they've been sitting at 8% and they want to refi it and really pay that back in that 12-month period. Or if they're trying to time something, we get this question a lot. A client is purchasing some real estate and they want to time it. Give us about a 20-day runway if the policy isn't assigned somewhere else, so that we can help them time it so they're not burning the clock on that 6%. Great question.
Great. What about clients with outstanding loans?
Yeah, so if they have an outstanding loan at the carrier, they can just move that right over to Northwestern Mutual. It operates like a refi. If they have the policies assigned somewhere else, this is important to remember, we don't do a bank-to-bank payoff. So if you have that situation, email me. We'll give you step-by-step instructions for how to help your clients. But in a nutshell, what they're going to need to do is they're going to have to request the payoff letter from the bank that they're assigned at and get those policies released. The bank will push them back to Northwestern Mutual. Northwestern will pay the wire. And once those policies are showing unassigned, those policies can continue in our underwriting process and we'll bring them over to inclined. So it's a little extra step, but we can help you and your clients navigate that.
Great. How about a VUL pilot? Would love to hear more.
Oh, I know. We're going to get there. I promise you. I promise you. We have an appetite for all of it. Variables, securities backed. We're not there yet. So on our product roadmap, up next is Universal in pilot, and then we're going to launch it full bore. So it's just got to be in the general portfolio. The thing to note about the UL is that a client can blend a whole life policy with a universal life product. So if they have a UL and whole life and it's both personally owned, we can put those both on one line. And then we're working right now on trust owned. So that's the next big product feature that you're going to see launched.
Great. We have one advisor who wanted to confirm that a client's credit score isn't affected.
It is not. So we don't report it to the credit bureau. It's an inquiry, a soft and a hard inquiry. If their credit is frozen, we will let them know when to unfreeze it, and then we'll tell them when to freeze it back. We have a lot of clients for identity theft. They really want to be protective of their credit, so they can keep it frozen, and then we'll tell them when.
Great. Another question, how long is the bank-to-bank payoff? I think they're asking, how long does it take to switch to inclined with that extra step in the bank-to-bank payoff?
You know, it really depends. It depends on the urgency of the client. So you all get this because you work with clients, and some have more urgency than others because they have to initiate that request and they have to do the follow-up. We can help guide them and help them navigate it with what to do, but they have to do it. And then once they apply, it's how quickly we get what we need from the advisors and their teams. So for those associates here on our webinar, we're going to really ask you for four things really. One, that you're highly responsive because we're super fast and we're even faster when you are. And then the documents that we're going to ask you for are the IFLs on the policies they're assigning, the PDR, and the CCV with the available loan amount column shown. And that's it. So as quickly as we can get that follow-up, the faster we move. Generally, it takes 10 to 20 business days when things are not assigned. It can take up to 30 days. I've seen when policies are assigned elsewhere. And then I've seen just a normal line come over in 4 business days. So again, it really is kind of all over the place. And again, depending on how urgent the client is.
Great. A few more questions just came in. Can spouses as owners of their own policies apply for one combined iLOC?
Great question. So we do not support yet what's called co-borrower, and that's what you're asking for. It's coming. We know that there's a need for that and we're working on it. So if you have let's say you have a husband and a wife, and they each have their own personally owned whole life, they would each need to apply for their own line of credit. Unless they wanted to change ownership with you up front to then combine it on one line. One reason that there's an advantage to that is when the rate goes variable. So if you want to look at that with me, I'm happy to jump on a call with you. But oftentimes people will just get both spouses their own iLOC. What you can assign are multiple insureds. So in that scenario, if you have a husband and a wife and they have some kids who have kid policies, whoever owns those kid policies, they could assign those policies on the line as well.
Great, thanks, Monica. Let's see. One person is asking for clarification. So essentially, the whole life policy acts as collateral.
Correct.
Money stays in the cash value to continue to earn the dividends, and there's no outstanding loan shown on the policy. This is also related to another question about QI bonus that came in.
Oh, yes. Okay. So whoever recapped that, you recapped that beautifully. Yes, 100% you are correct. That's what's happening. And yes, once you're over year 5, you all know you earn a very important bonus called QI. This cleans up your QI. So one of the best things you could do behind signing up for the portal is jump on and run in your CRM your policy loan report. You can run a report that will tell you exactly who has policy loans and what they're sitting at rate wise. You'll be able to see if they're sitting at the 8%. And that's a great jumping off point to start to have conversations with your clients about Inclined. It's a win-win. You're going to get them a better rate. That policy is going to continue to grow and earn its dividend, and you're going to clean up your QI.
Great. Another one, the client has current loans on Northwestern Mutual policies and their credit is frozen. What will be the total turnaround time to refi?
It's a good question. Again, we're dealing with real life humans and their sense of urgency is different every time we talk to them. But we're fast. We will tell them it's time to unfreeze your credit. They go in and they do it. And oftentimes we'll pull that credit inquiry in the same day and then get them to freeze it back.
Is there a way to see the current iLOC rate?
Yes, it's going to come to you in a rate sheet in an email behind this. It's in a hyperlink. It literally says rate sheet. And I would tell you to save that, flag it, put it in a folder in your inbox, because every time you click our links, they will always take you to the most recent up-to-date info. So oftentimes I'll have teams reach out to me and they want me to send collateral like a PDF. We don't use those because we never want to have outdated material circulating in the market to our advisors and teams. So just click that link every time and you'll go right to the current rate sheet.
Mm-hmm. Also, in the advisor portal, you'll be able to see the current rate is always displayed there, and you'll be able to see the rate for each of your clients' iLOC accounts.
Yep.
Last question, is this just interest only or interest with a loan duration?
Not 100% understanding the question, the loan duration. Can you say it differently? Interest is accrued daily, if that's what you're asking, and your clients will receive an email statement from us every single month that will show them what interest has accrued. And then they can calculate that if they're wanting to just pay interest only. And they
So
can set it up as an auto payment.
I think the clarification is, how is the loan amortized? Is it simple or compound?
Simple, right?
I think you got the answer. Yeah, I think he got it from what you had shared.
Okay. And I can, if you have more questions, whoever this is, email me, Monica at Inclined, and I can send you directly to our knowledge center that really breaks down how interest works. But just know that it's accrued daily.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to put in the chat the link for you all to sign up for the advisor portal. You are able to join anytime today. You should be pre-approved since you attended our webinar. Feel free to reach out to Monica if you have any other questions. Again, also a quick reminder, if you have group meetings, network office meetings, those district offices, we'd love to be there. We'd love to sponsor your lunches this year, so reach out to her about that. Monica, anything else that you'd want to finish with?
No, just watch for our communication. So you should get in 2 follow-ups. One will be a recording of today's webinar, and then another email from me with just next steps.
Great. Thanks everyone for attending. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day.